On your station, Isaac, 98.1 FM, The Promise. It's your girl Madonnaj in Woman of Promise. And today, it's not just about the women, but we are talking to the men. You know, I love the men, right? So we got to do something for them. And I've got men sharing with men today about a few different things. If we could get everything within the space of time, then you know there's always an overspill into yadas. So we have with us, let me welcome them. Let me get my rounds of applause because some of them have been here for the very first time. So they can't go away with just coming from us, right? That's how we do it. So I would like to introduce three powerful men in studio with me today. We've got Mr. Roger Moore, we've got Mr. Marvin Edwards, and we've got Kaden Joseph. Welcome. So you know they had to have their round of applause here with us for the first time, and it's all about the love that we share on Isaac 98.1 FM, the number one family station in the nation. And I know a few weeks ago we had someone on sharing as being an entrepreneur, very successful one at that, and lots of questions came out of it. So today we're going to touch on a few topics. We're going to be talking, we're going to have them, we're going to share about their experiences with their dad and who has been a dad for some time. We're going to also talk about entrepreneurship. You know, how do you come out of poverty? The question was asked, and how successful are entrepreneurs in business, and is it something you should consider getting into? Also, just a little touch on the alpha male and the beta male. You know, ladies, you all want to know. Feisty topic that happened last night in a meeting.
Last night alone or this morning?
Oh my God, this morning was fire. And partnership in business, the success of partnership in business. So I know that is something you'd want to learn about. So call up a friend, call up a neighbor, and let them know that we're on. And I'm going to have, I'm not hearing good in my earphones. All right. I'm hearing loud and clear. Nice. Yes, indeed. So I know everything that is going on. I wasn't hearing properly before. All right, so we're going to talk with Roger first. Very successful entrepreneur in Trinidad and Tobago. And really has impacted my life with the information. It has really been eye-opening with the information that he has shared with me over the last few months. So, in conversation this morning, we were talking about his dad and the impact his dad has had on his life. And because we're honoring men, you know, I thought it really necessary to share on that impact his father would have had. And he was going to tell us who his father was coming back and who his grandfather was. I think all that, you know, is important and impact his life.
But Madonna, before I get into that, I'd like you to at least know, let your audience know, that the gentlemen in this room, all three of us are from the real estate industry.
Right.
We are some of the top sellers of real estate in the country. We're part of the Remax Real Estate Group. You're getting a different kind of perspective. People who are trading to be real estate investors, you know, people who are successful, they belong to, they work with an American real estate franchise that sells real estate in 110 countries. You know, Kaden, for example, is 7-time national champion in karate. You know, Marvin Edwards here almost became president of Pantry Big at one point in time. You know, Steve Pines, an artist, worked offshore and now works for DreamMax, you know. But different kind of guy you have up here. And then I run a casual club, which deals with financial issues. And, you know, some couples don't make it, just saying. And if you want to talk about that, we can talk about that as well.
I like the cash flow part. I think they want to hear about how to make money.
Who doesn't want to learn how to make money?
Yeah, and taking persons out of poverty as well, because they aren't schooled, and it's something you had mentioned as well. If it would only get into the schools, then we wouldn't just study to pass an exam.
The school telling everybody GOB, they should tell people GOB stands for just overbroke.
Oh, gosh.
And I always get in trouble for saying that, but that's the reality of the situation. They're not taught about money in school, and they're taught to get a job, and they get a job, and eventually they get downsized or they live paycheck to paycheck, and they don't understand. I have a degree, I have a master's, I'm smart. Why am I living paycheck to paycheck?
Right.
And if you read Rich Dad Poor Dad, you'll see why.
Yes, that's a phenomenal book. I mean, I've read it and reading it again because you miss things the first time and then you realize the impact that it has on your life. And what he said there is so important, especially persons now leaving school as well and that kind of thing. So how was it? Okay, so let me go back to, let's go to Granddad, come up quickly to Dad, and then go into doing the business, starting the business, that kind of thing.
Okay, so my granddad, so I want to start off with saying I'm not a self-made person, right? I don't think it's the right thing to say because I don't think anybody is self-made. I think we always get help from a lot of people. If we're anywhere close to success, it's because of the sacrifice of many people along the way. So my granddad was in my family and one of the few that was a business owner. He was into real estate. He had real estate investments all over the country and that kind of thing. And he also co-founded Tech U Credit Union, So I learned a lot from my granddad. He sent his son and his daughters to the best schools they could possibly get, got educated, and they all got really good jobs and everything. But in terms of another family member going into business, I think people started realizing I was heading in that direction. I didn't really want to earn a salary. I want to make plenty of money, right? So it had to be business or something of that effect, right? So it's kind of obvious I was going into business. But my dad also had a major influence in my life. And my dad built Phoenix Bar gas processors. He's a mechanical engineer and a genius in Point Lisas. And if you want to research him, he's Roger Moore Sr. Right? So I learned a lot from my granddad and my dad and other men out there, including people from books, like John D. Rockefeller, or the guy who did Walmart, Sam Walton. I learned a lot from Sam Walton, from his information, how he went about things, how he deals with relationships, how he treated his business like a family business. I learned a lot from that. Even Ted Turner, who started CNN, same sort of concept, same sort of mentality. And so I looked at that, and I always, all throughout my business life, I always talked to successful business people, and I always said the same kind of thing. The person, your significant other, would make you or break you.
That's true. That's fact right there. That's fact right there.
So you have to be very careful
in your choices.
Who you pick.
That's critical.
And when I was first told that in 2009, after a business incident I had, the business owner realized I was a nice person. He was, he wasn't that mean to me. He gave me advice. And at the time I was going through a bad relationship with my girlfriend, and he said, you need a girlfriend or somebody, who you're with to have a strong work ethic. If you're in business, it's about work. And you need somebody who's there 100%, who could work with you. If you have to work 7 days a week, they're not going to complain. They're going to support you. And that is an important thing in business. And at the time, I was working really hard. It was 2009. I was 28 at the time. I just started a bicycle courier company. I was running Casual Club. I was blowing up really fast. But the money wasn't coming up with the blowing up. I was just getting popular, But at the time, the girlfriend I had at the time she was arguing a lot. She was upset how much hours I was working. She was accusing me of cheating and going to places I am not going when I was just working. She was doing a lot of things that was distracting me from actually building a business. And after that relationship ended, I never made that mistake again.
Wow. And that's critical, as Roger was saying there, in choosing accurately. And I want to come back to you, but I just want to jump across to Marvin briefly. Marvin, I met Marvin recently, but it's just because I think the impact with art, I like art. And I remember AP too said took me to this artist who recently passed and took me to his house and all that kind of thing. So the minute he started with art, I'm like, oh my God, so fascinated. And to know the kind of quality work that he does right here in Trinidad and Tobago, I'm like, wow, you should be making millions just by your art alone. you know?
Yes.
So this is Marvin Edwards. Marvin. So Marvin is a father, so you can share with us, having that relationship with your children. Sadly, he lost his daughter just over a year.
No, 5 years ago.
5 years ago?
Yeah, 5
Okay,
years ago.
5 years ago. So, how that would be as a parent and his Father's Day, yeah. So coming up soon. But thank God for his strength. So how has it been for you as a dad now as well in business and what advice you'd give to your children or to young people out there?
Okay, good question. All right. So first things first, I want to say good afternoon and thank you for having me. All right. So I'll be honest with you. I wasn't the perfect dad. Right. I had to learn along the way. I became a dad firstly when I was 26 years old. Basically, I had to learn on the run how to become more mature, how to become more understanding, and eventually, as my kids got older, I was able to learn the ropes with regards to creating that relationship with them. Now, let's be honest.
And I'm sure a lot of men can attest to that.
Yes, let's be honest. I mean, we still make mistakes, right? Sadly, my daughter didn't get the chance to really build that relationship with me as an adult because she was 20 years old when she passed away in 2017. My son and I are very close. That doesn't mean that there isn't conflict in between.
Life.
However, we are very, very close. We communicate. He's actually interested in getting into real estate.
Yeah,
and
he's
business as well.
looking at becoming a Remax.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to training him in sales, and I think he has a lot of potential.
Yes, right. So he did attend this sales training in the past.
Yeah.
So it's to do a refresher and
It's
so
just
on.
refreshers now.
Right. But the advice I would give to young people is gain your experience in life as well as looking into business, because what happens is that we tend to get lost because we want to make money. As a young person, 18, 19, 20, we want to make money. And we get lost in the matrix, right? And then all of a sudden we get accustomed to that comfort zone of that monthly salary, right? But a comfort zone is really an enemy of progress, an enemy of growth, right? So even though you're gaining that experience in the corporate world, still be mindful to start a business on the side and use personal development to help you grow mentally and financially so that you can raise your financial IQ so that you can develop your business in the future. Because at the end of the day, young people like Keelan here have a great advantage over me, right? Because he's 30 years younger than I am, right? Yes, 30 years younger than I am. So he has time on his hands. And that is what this business is really about, creating time for yourself, because we want to be able to make money, yes, but is ready to become more comfortable.
I would still say there's a give and take, because I would tell younger guys, be a paper chaser. Don't chase after women.
Wow, that's powerful.
We don't do that. Don't chase after women. We chase after opportunities, business, sales, paper chaser. And some people say that's a bad thing. No, it's not a bad thing, man. Come on. Going after deals is a good thing. I just don't run after women. I just don't do it. It just don't make no sense.
Right.
And I remember this one rich girl we went out on a date, right? And she was trying to convince me that a $20,000 US diamond engagement ring was a good investment. I said no. Check, please. I'd rather buy real estate. I'd rather invest in a franchise. I'd rather buy business. I would never do something that silly, and that's kind of. I'm glad we're having this conversation. Just want to clarify that. It's different levels, So paper chaser is like the next level.
Wow, that is exorbitant. Just a ring, you know what I mean? So, Keegan, so many K's in there. Right? So, how has it been for you as a young man getting into real estate? And you're also a champion of you'll tell us all about
of karate,
that.
yes.
Right?
So the question is, how has it been balancing real estate and karate?
Yes.
Okay, so it's been so for a while I've been into business actually. Yeah, I was actually into business from about 14 or 15 years old. Roger was actually one of my inspirations in that he had a talk at my high school, which is Trinity College East.
Wow.
And that was when I was making a transition into the world of work and stuff like that. So he didn't even know that.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
He preaching at JOB just over
I got
which is a
into
long
trouble
time.
for that too.
Yes, he actually
Yeah,
taught
yeah,
that's
yeah.
one of the reasons why I remember him.
I get into trouble everywhere.
Yeah, and I was always a hustler in terms of school and everything. I would do what I can in order to make those extra ends meet because I grew up with a single parent, which was my mom, and when they needed to get those nice clothes to go to a party and everything, and she told me like, no, priorities, studying. So I had to find different means legally in order to get those means, right? legally. To be clear. So I was always into business. I did Junior Achievers. I don't know if any of
Junior
you...
Achievement. Do you know the person in charge of Junior Achievements works at Isaac?
Really?
Uncle brother. Era Lewis.
Okay, I did not know that.
Right?
Yeah, but I actually did Junior
Just
Achiever.
saying.
And I had a bit of a knack, which I thought was for marketing, but it was really sales, which is more interaction and having an interpersonal relationship with people, which is only something I learned years later from going through trials and tribulations and things like that. But my main source was into karate, right? But karate is not very popular in terms of the business aspect of it.
Right,
Well, the business aspect is popular, but not becoming a professional athlete. Yeah, well, the business aspect is where you want to get into, right? But I didn't know that.
At that time.
It's only when becoming more open to business principles and learning from people like Roger that, he's saying, boy, you should really get into business, teach people.
Don Jacobs making plenty money, boy.
Right?
Have you seen his house?
Of course, and then merging that with real estate, which is really the game, right? So from reading Rich Dad Poor Dad and understanding the skills I would need, which was great because I read this at an early age, which I was like 21, which is not too long ago, and I have all these years to invest into it and just practice and build my skills in sales, and I'm already pretty good at it. I have a knack for it, so it's just to get.
He's a natural. He's one of my top agents. If he's not the top agent already.
Wow.
He's one of my top ones, big time.
I hope parents, you all are listening of these opportunities. And what I like about it is teaching your child, even though they may start off having a job, think of being a business owner. Think of it. And Roger, right back to you quickly with regards to that partnership, the importance of that partnership in business for its success. So you can share with us because I see time running, boy. Time is waiting.
So I run Remax. Remax is a large company and it's growing very fast. We are already the largest real estate brokerage by a long shot in the country, and I would say most people think this is the largest we will be. They see the large bill and they say, okay, that's the largest we'll be, but no, I think we are just like 1/10 the size we eventually will be. I am aiming for multiple offices in case you all are listening on live radio, my competition out there. I am going to aim for multiple offices, alright? I'm not just going to stick to one. San Fernando is our next move, so we're making some plans to start doing cash flow in San Fernando. So that's why we did the speech in the church in Vista Bella last week and that kind of thing. And create more jobs down there, create more opportunities, expand the real estate market, raise some prices for them, Yeah, get some deals done and get some people paid and get some investments done in the South area and, But anyway, I want to get back to Keaton because he's a natural in sales. I met him in True Cashflow Club and that kind of thing. And True Cashflow Club actually meets a lot of young people with that kind of talent and stuff. And we always lose them in the school system when they go off and do the degrees and the masters and stuff because they, if they don't see outside the box or they don't read Rich Dad Poor Dad, sometimes we lose them in the employment world. Because once you get locked in the rat race, a lot of people just do not get out. Once you get that dependency on a salary, you lose your skills to survive. You don't know how to sell, you don't know how to negotiate deals, right? And this is what we teach at Cashflow. So somebody like Keaton who read Rich Dad Poor Dad and all that stuff at 22 years old, making big moves and closing real estate deals, and he's getting accustomed to closing deals. So by the time he's 25, 26, 27, that's a different level you're talking about there, And this is something that could be duplicated if the school system would just allow something like Cashflow to be placed in. And that's our aim, man. We want to get it into the school system by the end of the decade. And we have no other cash flow has ever been this popular before, and we actually think this might be the first country to do something like that.
I think it's a good eye opener when it comes to coming out of the zone of being an employee, but being an employer as an entrepreneur, and even with Isaac as well as family owned, the importance of coming together and having that team that has the same mindset
Team sport.
to accomplish the goal, the vision that you would have for the business. And we were also talking about, because on Yadas, you all know, we always talk the other kind of topics, but just a little snippet of, and he said it already, about choosing accurately who you would want as a life partner, because you would eventually think of business, you can go in and say stagnated and doing the same thing over and over again. And will this person want to grow with you? And in choosing, I know it's not across the board, but if you were to choose, what are some of the things you would look for in a lady when choosing for that kind of success?
I would simply describe my girlfriend.
Right.
Right? So let me. Oh, I get points there? Yeah. Oh, I got points there. I was a little worried, okay? It's a sensitive topic, but see now I get some points. Okay, very good.
You get some points.
I get some points. So let me describe my girlfriend, right? I'm not going to call her name on live on here, but anyway. Okay, so she's a full-time math teacher. She works part-time at Remax. She manages Remax part-time, right? She runs a sideline business called MathWiz, so she does math lessons and that kind of thing as well. She has some shares in Remax. She's supposed to own more shares, but that's negotiable later on. We all work really hard. We aim for high commissions. We don't earn salaries. Nobody in the company earns salaries. We all aim for high commissions. We have built-in sales training systems and stuff, so all that is built in, so it's easy to accomplish, right? So back to this person. So she's very humble, very intelligent. That's what made her stand out from the start, her intelligence. I met her in about 10 years ago at Cashflow, and she was actually one of those students that didn't understand the concept, but she was suffering from depression at the time and all that stuff. So I really had to, I got to know her, trying to help her, because I realized she's a nice person, but she suffered from major depression. It was affecting her health and all that stuff. And I felt as if I had the expertise to kind of help her, because we went to personal development and realized through Cashflow Club that personal development had profound effects on people's mindsets and whatever issues they had. So I started using personal development on her, and it was working. And as she healed and got better and stuff, eventually she became my girlfriend. And I didn't expect the work ethic to be so good. She works really well. She's very smart. She's good at solving problems. I mean, you'll deal with her on a regular basis. She's a genius. She almost won, and here is Madonna, she almost won Global Manager of the Year in 2020. Remax, Global Manager of the Year in 2020. What the franchise doesn't know is that she's still part-time. They don't know that. She's so good at what she almost won Global. She didn't win it for the whole world, but she won it for the region in 2020. She won Caribbean and Central America. So that's to tell you the level of... Now, all of us, we all perform extra well because of the nature of the company and the nature of the mission of the company. But I think she goes above and beyond.
That's good, excellent. So, ladies, you have to go above and beyond and up your game. Don't just want to sit at home and want a box of KFC. Just keeping it real.
Yeah, I want a lady that's cook. That's a good lady. A lady that cooks. Let me talk about
He
that.
just like
And
plenty
he's
food.
22, right?
Yeah. I don't eat Gabby's food. I don't eat my girlfriend's food. We go to restaurants.
Can Gabby cook?
She could cook. She could cook, but I just don't.
Okay.
I don't have her cooking.
Okay.
We have more things. We have, as I like to tell her, we have better things to do. We have deals to close.
Okay.
We have a townhouse complex to close right now. We're working on that. We have a next. We just got a next townhouse again to
Gabby,
sell.
you don't study about cooking.
No,
I know
we
that's
on
all men will be
deals.
saying.
No, we on deals.
Right?
We want to make money. We're on deals.
Right.
I don't have
So-
a problem with being cooked for.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem at all.
So Shanaka cooks for
Yes.
you?
Yes, she does.
Oh wow.
Yes, she does.
So I'm the only one who. So wait, you have a girlfriend yet? You still single?
Yeah.
So she not. So you have nobody cooking
So
for
you're
you.
looking
Right?
for somebody who could cook. Okay, good.
Yeah, ladies.
I still.
I like roti.
You like her?
Roti. Yeah. Change your marketing strategy.
But that support is important, eh?
Yes, yeah.
'Cause, I mean, I have that same thing with Shanaka. She's not.
Shanaka
She's
is a
not.
girlfriend.
Yeah, she is. She's not totally involved in Remax yet.
Right.
But she is very supportive regards to, we run our business together as well outside of Remax, Remission Cleaning Services, right? And she's part and parcel of that. She's the driving force. And she's the person who actually encouraged me to really get more involved in business and personal development, even though I was involved in it before we even had the conversation.
And she trains really hard in
And
the
she
gym.
trains
But
really
it's,
hard
it's
in the
good.
gym as well.
So I don't train her.
I didn't say you don't train hard in the gym.
Every morning, well, almost every
Yeah,
morning.
you train this hard. You train hard this morning.
Right, but what he was saying, something there that I wanted to grab a hold of is the connection and doing it together.
Yes.
You know how important it was, and himself as a man was open to be guided, even if with a little encouragement to you know, do this and do that would help build yourself, because sometimes some persons are resistant to self-improvement and you know, building on yourself and that kind of thing. So
Yes.
it has to have that fluid
Yeah.
connection where you're able to say, okay, yes, you know, there's good advice, I'll work with this, instead of resent wanting to be. So some people get defensive when you talk about
Yes.
improving yourself.
I find
you
when
know?
couples work together and you're into personal development, you stay together. And I've personally witnessed running a cash club for 17 years, training thousands of people. The trend is when there's a family business, the family is stronger. You have no choice but to be stronger. I saw that dynamic with my girlfriend, for example, running a big company like Remax, where we could be petty and we could argue over petty stuff,
And
but we
hold on to
don't,
things you
because we
don't,
have
yeah.
so much responsibilities. We have over 30 families to take care of and make sure they could buy food, and we had to do that all through COVID. We had to solve problem after problem after problem. So that forced us to get closer together. It forced us to understand each other better. She knows what I don't like. She knows I don't like constant updates when I'm working. So she wouldn't do that often. She would do it once or twice. She say I got aggravated, she'll stop one time. And for the rest of the day, hunky dory. I know her stuff, she knows my stuff. We will work very seamless together.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
And we solve multitudes of problems that other people would just fall apart over. And people see us like rock stars, but we're not rock stars, we just get along really well.
And some things you're saying that is so critical, but we don't have the time for that with regards to even getting along and her understanding, okay, what's a pet peeve, and then, okay, move on for that to hold on. Because a lot of times when you talk about breakups, you'd realize it's because they were
It's
holding
petty
on to
stuff.
things,
Yes.
that they could have just let go and just moved to another
usually
level,
petty
you
stuff.
know? Yeah.
And when you have
So,
responsibility, things change.
Yeah.
But-
So you need to be more.
Don't make a permanent decision on a
you're
temporary
upset.
problem.
Yep.
You understand?
Yeah. So I'm sure that Keevan,
Keegan.
Keegan,
Done.
Keegan.
Done.
Keegan now.
Yes.
I talked to Keevan and oh Lord, Keegan.
Don't confuse yourself. Stick to me.
Alright, Keaton.
Yeah.
Alright, so Keaton is learning a lot because he don't have to make any of the mistakes that the mature persons would have made.
Yeah, and
you
he's
know?
wise.
He's getting such wise counsel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in closing, we just have 3 more minutes. So definitely you want to be on the others, because the others is a lot more time. That you can leave with the persons and some things they have already taken, I believe, is with regards to having a good partnership when you want to have a successful business. Choosing accurately.
Business
Yes.
is a team sport.
Right? So you can give just 2 more minutes now. Go ahead. Closing remarks.
Closing remarks. Business is a team sport, and people on your team, take care of them and help them develop their leadership skills as well. That's the sign of a true leader.
Nice.
Don't run a business without reading. Personal development is everything. So it'll help you to face your challenges and just read, and you'll get along.
Keegan.
I got it correct.
I think, well, as I have the advantage of time, I'm actually doing some personal development on myself earlier this morning, reading a book called The Magic of Thinking Big. And for the guys, the younger guys or whether they're older, the author, David Schwartz, was putting something in perspective for an older guy. He was saying that he was kind of running out of time. He was trying to chase his dreams and stuff like that, but he was 45 years old. I think he wanted to get a PhD or something like that. But he was encouraging him to continue because of the fact that most people all men retire at age 70 or so. So he had like, let's say 30 more, 40 more years in order to put that time in. I'm in my 20s. Let me say if you're using that same timeline, I have like 50, 60 more years, right? I have a big advantage. At the same time, 40 years as compared to that older person is not a short period, right? It doesn't go in the blink of an eye. So I guess that we should always use our time and maximize it and use it for constructive things, whether it's building a business, finding a good partner, or
Income
enjoying
producing
your
activity.
life. Yeah.
Yes.
Income producing activity.
Definitely. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for sharing
You're welcome.
with
you're
us. Just this little snippet. Definitely, we'll connect again and be back.
Nice.
Ladies, you never know, it might be any others because you hear all the information that they have to give. It's just a little bit that we were able to get trickles of it. But thank you again. It was really, really powerful. Have a good afternoon. Tiffany's up next. And Women of Promise, sponsored in part by Arlene, Mohammed Streets, and Narrow. So I am now going to...
88.1 FM, focusing on you, centered on the family, where faith comes to life. Inspirational and uplifting music.